Hey everyone, and I'm back with another video. And this is Camfree 15, and this is finally the start of a new season. So, Chicago Bears fans, football is back for our Chicago Bears. And it was great to look at today's game. Or really get a chance to see the Bears play once again. Um, Despite it ending in defeat tonight, all in all, it's preseason, so wins and losses don't really matter. Preseason is basically an evaluation period on players trying to make the roster and trying to be a backup player or potentially fight for a starting position on a lineup for this team. And I'm here to talk about basically some things that I liked and some things that I didn't like, some things that I saw that I thought were good, and then some things in some departments that I think, in my opinion, need a little bit of improvement. If you're a Bears fan, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Bears content. I will be talking about this team and reviewing this team progressively during the preseason to see how players that might make the roster do. And when it comes to regular season, I'll give game day breakdowns after the game is over. I'm probably not gonna do like a previews for the game. I'd rather just you know do game post game breakdowns and stuff like that, and basically how the post game breakdowns will be handled for the regular season is I'll basically give a brief overview of the game, and then go in more depth of some things that I liked watching from the game and some things that I didn't like and some things that really need to improve for the team going forward into the following weeks. Um, as if, like I said, if you want more Bears content, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Because I'm going to be one of the main dudes that will give you the Bears content that you need. And if there's any questions, please put that in the comment section on stuff like that. And I would like to hear your opinions on some of the things that you possibly saw tonight that, it could be where it could be some things leading on to the regular season that could find some ways to help this team. Um, Tonight I didn't really come prepared. I will probably be prepared morely in the regular season. In the preseason, I'm gonna try to jot it down from memory, but I'll try to make sure I have like a piece of paper or a notebook so I can jot down some things of some impressive things that I saw. For the regular season, I will definitely be jotting down things on a notebook, and when it comes time for me to do the post game reviews for the Bears, I'm gonna obviously have things written down so I can remember from what I seen. So basically, our Chicago Bears played their first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers today at Soldier Field, and like I said, it didn't end up in a victory, but hey, it doesn't really matter because preseason, it doesn't matter wins or losses. You can go 0-4 and be a Super Bowl contender, and a majority of the reasons is because your backups are just playing and stuff like that, like your second stringers and third stringers. So basically, a quick overview of the game. From what I saw, I thought the defense played really well for majority. Well, really, it's like with a little bit of the first stringer guys that we noticed, like Roquan Smith having that big sack at the beginning of the game. Other good plays made too. The fumble we recovered, and then an interception by Deion Bush were good defensive plays. Other than that, I thought the defense was solid outside of really the third stringers, which are predominantly the rookies. They basically just play regular, defense. Now, there were some occasions where it's like, there were some occasions where some of those younger players could have stepped up and made a play. Like, there was, like, opportunities to get a sack. They just didn't get it. So it's a good thing for those young people, young guys to like go into the film room, watch and learn, and see what they did right and wrong. Um, I'm gonna give some stats, some brief stats, some impact player. Well, not impact players, but some players that I did pretty good. Chase Daniels. Well, before I get to Chase Daniels, Mitch Trubisky did play in this game, but he really didn't do anything. He just handed the ball off 3 times, and then his night was basically over with. So Trubisky, he started the game, but really didn't do anything. So because they want to make sure he doesn't get hurt before the regular season. He probably won't get really good playing time action, probably till the third preseason game, but we'll see from there on then. So, anyways, going back to the stats, Chase Daniels was 11 for 13 with 120 yards. He had no TDs, no interceptions. He only got sacked 2 times. Then Tyler Bray, who filled in for him in the second half, he went 8 for 17. Had 85 yards passing, and no TDs, no interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times. As for the rushing, let me see, what is his name? I think it's Carif White Jr., if I'm not mistaken. Jesus, that app could load. Yes, Carif White Jr. Carif White Jr. carried the ball 6 times for 35 yards. No touchdowns. David Montgomery, who I thought was really good today, what was impressive. Had some runs that were pretty impressive. He had 3 carries for 16 yards and one scored a TD today, so he got his first NFL TD. Tyquan Mazzell, he carried the ball 2 times for 14 yards, no TDs. Mike Davis, he carried the ball 3 times for 9 yards, no TDs. And then Ryan Nall carried the ball 5 times for 8 yards. And yeah, I thought overall, from a running back's perspective, I liked a little bit what Carif White Jr. did. Mike Davis, there was one run early in the game where he got a huge gain of yardage, and then that was a nice run to see. David Montgomery was pretty impressive tonight. He didn't, like the stats say, he didn't get much carries, but in the carries he got, he really showed out. It really showed the elusiveness, and even when it came to him receiving the ball tonight, he really showed that elusiveness and jukes and jives that scouts have been saying that this kid can do. And it's good to have him and see him get his first touchdown, because it's gonna be good. And it's good to see, especially from the aspect of a pass catching running back. Like I said, no disrespect to Jordan Howard. I love Jordan Howard for a time here, and even the announcers on the broadcast said it. No disrespect to Jordan Howard, but the difference between Montgomery and Howard is Montgomery can catch the ball out in space and make moves of it. As of Jordan Howard, he really couldn't catch, and usually when he got the ball, he didn't make a lot of guys miss. It was basically a brick wall, and we really, as Bears fans, saw that happening. He would just run into a pile and boom, he'd be stopped. And, yada, yada, yada. As for receiving, there's really not much to go on to, really. I don't really have to talk about receiving. There was nothing really there in the receiving yards. Montgomery had 3 receptions for 30 yards. Mazzell had 2 receptions for 21 yards. Nall had 4 receptions, 21 yards. Javon Wims only had 2 receptions for 15 yards. I would like to see the Bears get the ball to Javon Wims a lot more. I actually do like Javon Wims a lot, and I hope he's one of the guys that makes the cut, because receiver, man, we have some crazy depth, and we are pretty loaded at wide receiver, and it goes back to 2 years ago before we even got Nagy. We were so depleted at wide receiver where we had no legit wide receivers. Now we have some wide receivers to work with. I would love to see Javon Wims at some point in his career make the cut, and be on the main 53-man roster for the Bears, because I don't want to be that player where he's a really good player, but he just doesn't get that shot to make the roster, and we basically just let him go to another team so he can prove himself. And if he turns out to be a really good player, I feel like, man, we really should have never done that. I personally think when we drafted Javon Wims last year, I thought he was a steal for us. And like I said, it's gonna be for all the wide receivers on this Bears team trying to make the 53-man roster as a wide receiver. It's gonna be tough because you got guys that have already been there, done that, and proved it, like in Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, um, you know, Anthony Miller, Riley Ridley. He's a new pickup we got, and I like him. So yeah. As for fumbles, really, it was Woods, right, who made a fumble. Yeah, Woods, and then Deion Bush had an interception that was returned for 7 yards. Um, yeah, and then we had a fumble recovery, I think by Josh Woods. I think that's what his name is. He did get a fumble. He made the Panthers fumble and stuff like that. Now we did fumble the ball on offense, but we picked it right up after the fumble hit, so that was good to know. Other than that, we were good. So, like I said, I kind of got the things out of the way what I liked of what I saw. This video is going to be really short because there's really nothing to talk about. Because there really is nothing to go off to see. Is like I'm just seeing promise from these players, like David Montgomery. I'm seeing the promise from him and see what I can't wait to see for what he can do full time in the regular season when he's not going to be limited so much because they don't want him to get hurt. Because we all found out, sadly, I even found this out, that Jermaine Kearse for the Detroit Lions, he basically broke his leg, and he's gonna be out for the season. So my prayers and wishes to Jermaine Kearse. You never want to see players injured, and hopefully you'll have a fast and speedy recovery for that knee injury. So basically, I'm gonna get out of the things I particularly like and get into the things that I feel like need to be an improvement, and things that I kind of it didn't piss me off, like how I might get pissed off later in the regular season and get upset with some things. But as a point of, it's going to be like a little tick where I get a little ticked off and things need to be tweaked and fixed in preparation for the regular season. So it's really only two things, and it was just two things. One, we're going to get to the nitty gritty. The kicking, for Bears fans, we know right now kicking is an atrocity for us, and we still need to find our kicker. So Elliott Fry, now overall throughout the game, he attempted 2 field goals. One was an extra point. 2 was a 3-point field goal attempt, and so for both field goal attempts he went 2 for 2. So he made 2 kicks tonight, and that's good. He made 2 kicks tonight. I was like, okay. And you can follow me on Twitter at Cam315 or at All-for-1Cam. I put in my tweets mentioning the Bears, or mentioning the kicky thing after the first half, really that, Elliott Fry, if he keeps it up, he can win himself a starting job if he shows off his leg really good and he doesn't miss kicks every now and then. And the fact that he went 2 for 2, good start. It builds his confidence, and it's a good thing to see from a young kicker that already he's making kicks in Soldier Field, and it's going right down the middle. My whole idea with the kicking thing is, look, square the kick up, just don't worry about anything. Go make the kick it straight, make it up in the uprights, boom, free 3 points or free extra point, and stuff like that. He made a 43 yard field goals, so that's good to see. He's hitting something beyond 40 and not missing it so far. Now, Cody Parkey last year, he missed that stuff last year, and like all Bears fans were tormented with him missing kicks. These young kickers have a lot of pressure on them from the standpoint is, to have the Bears fans love you guys and appreciate you guys even more now that kicking's a problem for us. You're going to have to go out there, be consistent, and make kicks. And you saw it when Elliott Fry, when he made the kicks, especially the 43-yard field goal. Geez, even though it's a preseason game, you had the Bears fans standing up basically applauding that he made a kick because look at it. He made a kick. Oh my goodness. Maybe we're going to get out from under the Cody Parkey syndrome. And sometimes I wish I started my YouTube channel earlier talking about the Bears because I swear, I was probably one of the few guys that, I was probably one of the many Bears fans that actually hated Cody Parkey to the point where I actually wanted to, even though I don't condone this, hurt him. But like I said, I try not to condone violence because, like I said, they have just as much personal life going through, through that stuff. So hopefully Elliott Fry keeps it up for the rest of the preseason. I'll be watching the kicking, and one thing I did like, I'll get to that soon, but hopefully he can keep it up in the preseason, keep making kicks, and hopefully if he keeps making kicks, he might win himself the main kicking job. As for Eddie Pinheiro, he went 1 for 2. He missed his first field goal attempt, and it was just basically curving to the left. And the moment he kicked it, it was already going wide left, and that was a bummer because he clearly had the leg to make it. He just has to make it between the uprights. And even the announcer said, "Look, you got the kick. You just have to have you have the leg to kick it. You just have to have the consistency to hit it through the uprights." He later did make a field goal, a 23-yard field goal. So he basically redeemed himself from that kick instead of going 0 for 2. Because if he had went 0 for 2 in tonight's game, he would have looked pretty bad as opposed to Elliott Fry, who went 2 for 2. As the whole kicking thing works itself out, I like the fact in the preseason game how Nagy has them rotating. When they're in an opportunity, whether making an extra point or just a standard straight field goal, he's rotating the guys to be like, okay, who makes more this game? Who's going to miss more this game? So far, Elliott Fry, from the standpoint of, competition, Elliott Fry is in the lead for this point on now. And I know for a fact this kicking competition is going to be going on for the entire preseason and even during practice as well. And when the time comes to see who makes the cut, we'll see who makes the cut. So far, like I said, Elliott Fry is the one leading, while Eddie Pinheiro, he's slightly behind, but if he can start making kicks, he'll get up to Elliott Fry. And basically, the kicking job for these two young kickers is going to be big because now they could hold potentially the future of the Bears going farther and farther in a regular season to make the playoffs. And, even if they do make the playoffs, maybe like they need to be put in that Cody Parkey situation where they need to make the kick to win the game. It's going to be big. It's going to be big. And yes, the moment's going to be big for them. And there was a moment where Elliott Fry, the Panthers tried to ice him. He still made it. And it was dead on accurate, right through the middle. And that's what I'd like to see. Even if you're being iced, you need to still make the field goal. It's like I said with it's like when I saw the Cody Parkey thing. If he kicked it and he made it the first time, and then while Peterson iced him, if you made it the first time, you can make it again. You just have to have the confidence to make it and the consistency to make it. So, yeah, That's what I'd like to see out of the kickers. Now, I'll still be watching them with a close eye. There's the rest of the preseason, and I'll make sure to mark that all down. So, shifting from the kickers, I'm going to get into another issue, and I just remembered I actually have a third issue, but I'll actually get into this one right now. As for penalties, I know this is a little nitpick. Penalties, I know it's also the preseason as well, but penalties need to be shrinkled down. We cannot have as many penalties after getting positive yards. There was a few times where we got really good positive yards, and we got called for a holding or a false start or something like that where it moved us back instead of going forward. Especially going into the regular season, we cannot have penalties like that just shoot us in the foot and kill all the momentum. Because we have false starts where it pushes us back from a first down and 10 to a first down and 15. That shoots us in the foot and that kills momentum. Especially if we get a first down and then especially if we get the first down and that same exact first down, we get a false start. That can't happen. Holding, I know it's preseason. You can say, well, it's nitpicking because it's the preseason. I just don't like when, especially if it's a run play, we get positive yards and then there's a flag and we're called for holding. That cannot happen. I know this is a nitpick a little bit, but the holding, the penalties, they need to shorten down, especially when it comes to false starts and holding. I know there was this one false start penalty we got where this dude was moving for no reason, I guess because he didn't remember the play, and it's like, dude, come on. As for holding stuff, holding definitely needs to go down. Try not to hold. The O-line needs to try not to hold people. They need to just block up front. I would love to see the holding penalties go down because I would hate, especially in the regular season, where we get positive yards and it's always taken back to like a first down and 15 or a second down and 15 because of a stupid holding penalty. Can't have that. We cannot have that. So the penalties need to lower down. That's one of my other observations I saw. I'm going to see if I can find anything as of penalty reasons. Team stats. Penalties. Yeah, we had 8 out of 50. Yeah, we had 8 penalties against. Yeah, there was 8 penalties. The penalties we cannot have 8 penalties like that because, that's unacceptable. Anything anything over, it's not as bad, but it's almost close up there to the 10. I say anything over 10 when it comes to penalties is bad. You do not want to have nothing higher than a 10 when it results to penalties. Because if you're playing avid penalties in a football game, you're just not only shooting yourself in the foot, but you could be losing yourself the game. And it's very rare to win ball games when you have a high amount of penalties. The Bears need to lower down the penalties. The Panthers only had 4 penalties, so they really didn't have any penalties. I would like to see them be in that 5 penalty range. I don't need them higher than a 5, higher than a 10, because if they get higher than a 10, that's bad, and I will be critiquing that as well. Then my last thing I'd like to talk about that I had a little bit of an issue with that I think definitely needs to be improved, and this is even issues from last year, is basically punt team coverage. There was 3 straight punt team possessions where we punted the ball after the Panthers, and they got really good yardage. In the start of the second half, we punted off the Panthers, and the Panthers are basically in their own red zone because nobody's making a tackle. Really, on that first possession, there was nobody there to make the tackle. David Montgomery really pushed the dude out of bounds to save a punt return for a touchdown. And this is something Chris Talbot, the special teams head coach, or the special teams coach, he needs to work on. And that is getting to the getting to the returner, getting up in their face so they can call a fair catch, or getting there to the punter and go making an open field tackle. We cannot miss tackles in the open field and have very bad special teams or very bad punt coverage, because then that can lead into the kickoff coverage and stuff like that, and we don't need that. Because especially going to the regular season, if we're having issues with punt coverage, and a team that is in a key drive to score a ball against us, and that needs to score a ball against our defense, gets put in a good position where they can score the ball pretty much easily, that's bad on the special teams. And special teams was one of the major issues last year. Not only when it comes to the kicking point, but it came to the coverage and stuff like that. I'd say that punting, they need to go into practice, look at film, and really improve this punting coverage. I'm going to be paying attention for preseason week 2 to see if the punting coverage is better. I know it's preseason, but still, even if it's second stringers and third stringers and we're having this bad punt coverage, no, that can't happen, especially going to the regular season, because that's just going to create a pattern and a habit that, we can just doze off on punt coverage. I would like to see the punt coverage be a lot better, where we get up in the guy's face to make him either fair catch the ball or, make him catch the ball and we're right there to tackle him. I would not like to see a guy gain like 10 or more yards off a punt because we're missing tackles and we can't get to the ball carrier. I do not see that. I thought personally tonight's punt coverage, I'm not going to say it was horrible. I'm just going to say it wasn't great. It needs to be better. So hopefully Chris Talbot, the special teams coach, will go into film, look at that, talk to his special teams guys, and tell them, look, you need to get on it. You need to get to the ball carry. You need to get to the returner. Get up in his face. Make him fair catch the ball. Make him stay there. Because we cannot afford to have teams play us and basically get into the red zone and make the offense literally do no work. Because in the game, you saw what happened after the Panthers put in the red zone. They scored a touchdown, an easy touchdown at best. That cannot happen, especially in the regular season when it's a critical down for another team and it's a critical drive for that team and it's a critical defensive drive for us to get that stop to keep the momentum if we're up. Or say we need a score and we need a stop. We cannot have things like that happen. So that's really my little ticking off issue, things that I feel like need to be addressed, which is really the penalties and the fact that a little bit of the kicking needs to be a little bit better, as in for Eddie Pinheiro, and the punting coverage and a little bit of the kickoff coverage needs to be a little bit better too. So yeah, this is basically it. This is all I have left to talk about basically tonight's game. I will be tuning in to next week's game to give my thoughts about that and stuff like that in preparation for the regular season. So, like I said, if you're a Bears fan and you like this video, leave a like in the comment, or leave a like. If you feel like there was any takeaways that you saw from the game where that you thought was good, or there's something that needs to be improved on, leave that in the comment section. I used to be a football player myself back in high school, and I played like 1 year in college, so I know football and stuff like that. But it's always good to get more help from other people to understand certain things. And if there was any issues you took away from the game where there was a little irk or you didn't feel too good about it, leave that in the comment section as well. Also hit that subscribe button if you want more Chicago Bears content, and stuff like that. Also, my channel is predominantly, TV show and movie reviews, where I give reviews on movies that are coming out, and TV shows that have been out are literally weekly TV shows that I'm watching as of currently. And, I also do sports reviews for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which I haven't done that. I probably won't make an Angels baseball video probably till the tail end of the season when they're done, because I'm absolutely done with them. I have not watched an Angel game in forever, nor do I care, because right now I think they're on a 7-game losing streak, and I don't want to make a rant video on them because, it's no reason to. All I know is with the Angels, they're playing with no passion. As for basketball, I review I give reviews about the Clippers. So, if you want to check those out, go right ahead. I might discuss other NBA news as a whole because the NBA is so big as is, but I don't know if I'll do that. The only other NBA video other than the Clippers I made was Russell Westbrook going to the Rockets and what I thought about that. So if you want to check any of those videos out in your opinion, just to get my thoughts on basically 3 of my favorite teams, or the 2 other of my favorite teams in the different major sports, that's it. And if you're interested in seeing some of my movie reviews, like for example Avengers Endgame, I recently did a review for Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, check those out. I have to organize a playlist again, but yeah, check those out on the playlist on the channel, and also the TV show reviews, because there might be some TV shows that are actually like, you might know of or you might have heard of, and you might actually want to look at it. Like, I think my highest video when it comes to like, entertainment wise as of TVs and movies, I think it is the Bernie Mac show, which got 20 views so far. Now I know that's not much, but I was actually shocked that 20 people actually checked out a review of the Bernie Mac show, because it's something where you probably don't type in your YouTube live search engine and be like, Bernie Mac show review. I was actually shocked I got pretty much a lot of views off the Bernie Mac show, and I think that is my highest rated view video. So yeah. Other than that, that's really it. So basically, till the next Bears preseason game next week, this has been Cam Free 15, and I'm signing out. You guys have a great night.